All right, everybody, good morning and welcome to week 9. We are officially in the second half of the semester. This week is a busy week for you in English 221, so let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so this week I have conferences available for the essay number 1 revision as well as essay number 2. Keep in mind that you need to meet with me as a requirement if you plan on revising. And then the essay number 2 conference, you can meet with me before the rough draft is due this week, or you can meet with me next week after you've received your feedback for the rough draft. So lots of kind of comings and goings this week as far as conferences go. You have quite a bit of activity happening on your to-do list, but again, some of it is optional. If you've already met with me about SA2, you don't need to again, although you certainly can. You know, essay number 1 revision conferences are this week. You have some extra credit, and then the optional revision of essay number 1. So if you take out the kind of optional pieces, then it's actually probably a pretty smooth week. I want to reiterate again that that you need to make sure you read through the steps to revise. I won't accept a revision if you haven't met with me. So please make sure that you do that. This page in the module, again, kind of walks you through all of the reasons why you might want to revise. So everything just kind of is laid out here for you. This page is also a reminder to conference with me for essay number 2. Again, your rough draft is due this Friday, so if you want to talk about your essay kind of heading into the rough draft, then this is a good week to meet. As always, I have posted the assignment here, so that way you can kind of, again, apprise yourself of all of the elements that are required in essay number 2, and just to kind of remind yourself of what that larger topic is. All right, so as far as the instruction goes this week we are shifting away from the reading part of our unit and into the writing part, right? So the first couple of weeks was knee deep in all kinds of readings about free speech and then hate speech and social media and cancel culture, and just kind of really kind of engrossing ourselves, if you will, into this topic, right? And now what we're going to do is we're going to shift to the writing piece. I'm going to create a separate video here about the question at issue and the claims. So revisit this page, but you won't be able to complete the very first discussion board this week until you have read through and kind of understand what I'm talking about here with the question at issue. So make sure that you have read this page, and then the next page also, which is about the claims. Those two go hand in hand. Because this essay is a traditional argument, you're going to be developing questions of issue, 4 of them, that correlate to the 4 claims, and then you're going to choose which of those claims you think is going to yield a better essay for you. And again, I'll create another video about that. So revisit this page. Again, your first discussion board is about that. I'm asking you to post all 4 of your question and claim pairs, and then to give feedback to somebody else's. I have put a huge note here, but I just want to kind of reiterate. My examples here are about a totally random topic. But what you're posting needs to be specific to essay number 2, about free speech, and about whatever subtopic you are going to be exploring, whether that's hate speech, cancel culture, or social media, right? Your essay is free speech and social media, or free speech and cancel culture, or free speech and hate speech, right? And so you're exploring the overall lens of how free is free speech as it relates to one of those 3 subtopics, okay? So your questions and your claims here need to be about that, not about random topics. So that is your very first discussion board of the week. And then there's a reminder here to give feedback to somebody else. And then there's some additional writing instruction here about integrating evidence, right? We didn't necessarily focus on that too much for the first essay, but I felt like a lot of people just needed some reminders about integrating evidence. So I'm including some some instruction here kind of about the they say, I say templates. You may have had an instructor in English 100 use these templates. I know when I teach English 100, I use them. They're designed to try to help get you into that academic discourse, into the academic conversation in a way that is maybe more natural than just John Doe says, comma, quote, da, 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 right? Because that pattern isn't a bad pattern, but it becomes very repetitive if that's the only thing that you're doing to introduce evidence. And so the templates are a way for you to use a varied approach and maybe a more targeted approach when you are introducing your sources. They are meant to be used and copied. So don't feel like you are plagiarizing if you decide you want to use, for example, so-and-so acknowledges that, or blank complicates matters further when he writes that, right? These are templates. They're meant to be used in that way. So don't feel like you have to change up the language in order to avoid plagiarism. So this page here, and I've given it also to you as a Google Doc and as a PDF, it's just really meant to help you integrate evidence. If you feel like you don't need that kind of help, then of course you can skip it. The second page here is about the counter argument. And the counter argument in this essay, actually, this essay tends to be the easiest when it comes to counter argument, because when it comes to free speech, as you know from the video from last week, it's very easy to generate what that counter argument is. And so this page is really more of a reminder of excuse me, of how to address that counter argument in your essay, where it goes, how you include it, how you refute it, right? How you make sure that it doesn't take over your paper. So this page is just, again, kind of a reminder about that. And then the last is the roadmap. And so the roadmap, again, is kind of a way to organize longer and more complicated essays. It's kind of like standard outline 2.0, right? And so your second assignment for this week is to write a roadmap, and that is designed to get you closer to writing your rough draft. I think especially as we get into these longer essays, having kind of a better sense of your flow is going to be a requirement. And what I really want you to do is I really want you to focus on getting out of the habit of writing 5 paragraphs, right? Kind of moving past the intro, body, conclusion habit. If you know that that's your MO, then what I want you to do is try to challenge yourself to write 4 body paragraphs instead of 3. Because again, we're working on that thesis statement development and kind of deepening the thesis statement. And so now what we need to do is work on the body paragraphs, right? And that's next. So this handout here kind of walks you through what I mean when I'm talking about a roadmap, kind of what the conventional outline looks like, but what a roadmap looks like, which is much more detailed. And then if you decide that you really want to dive in, then you can do a more detailed roadmap that includes evidence. That's not necessarily what I'm looking for, although you can if you want it. I want a basic, like, what is this paragraph going to be about? Big idea. Not a couple of words or sentences, not a couple of words like this. I don't want this, right? This is like a subject list. What I want is more like this, okay? With each number kind of outlining what a paragraph is going to do. Because what I think that's going to help you do also is to see how your paragraphs are all working in alignment to support your thesis, to support your claim. So you need to make sure you have read this assignment before you complete the roadmap. And the roadmap is due on Thursday. And then here's the reminder to post a reply. And then your rough draft is due Friday with a grace period for Saturday. So what I have done here is I've kind of given you some tips, I guess, of what I'm looking for in this rough draft, including how many pages I'm looking for, the word count. I'm not looking for a word count. I am looking for at least 2 full pages of writing. There's some other things that I need you to give me in order for me to be able to give you meaningful feedback. And then here is your rough draft assignment. It's due Friday, but you have a grace period until Saturday at 11:59 p.m. So if you don't get it in by Friday, that's fine. Again, there's no penalty for using the grace period, but you have basically until midnight on Saturday. I know that there are some folks who I think are waiting right up until 11:59 to submit that, and you're going to run into problems. Canvas will shut down if you hit 11:59, it will lock you out. So don't wait until 11:58 to submit your essay or whatever assignment it is. Try and get it in earlier than that. Again, you are sending me a Google Doc and making sure that I have editing access, and that way I can put comments directly onto your essay. Your next up is your writing territory for the week, and not coincidentally, your focus for this week is a paragraph. So what I want you to do is just to kind of be thinking about the paragraph. This article, I think, does it really well, does a good job of explaining not just why we need to push for simplicity in our thinking and our reasoning and our writing, but really kind of thinking about the paragraph structure as a form of really delivering content and making sure that we're not convoluting it, that we're not throwing in unnecessary information or material. So the focus for the week is paragraphs for the writing territory. That means that you cannot submit a writing territory that is all one paragraph this week. You cannot do it. I will not accept it, and you will have to redo it if you want credit. So what I want you to do is, again, thinking about the paragraphs and where are you breaking your thinking, where are you shifting between ideas or pivoting, and really starting to be mindful of the moves that you're making as a writer and how you can kind of mirror your writing to your thinking. And this week that focus is on paragraphs. Okay, your extra credit opportunity is a story you probably have heard about with a cheerleader who had this rant on Snapchat, and the school found out about it. And anyway, it was a big thing. And it was just recently in the news because the courts were addressing it. This is the basic story of what happened. So your extra credit is for you to kind of think about, what do you think about free speech as far as what happened to this student, and whether or not the school maybe went outside of their boundaries, or did they, right? And so that's part of what I'm going to be asking you to grapple with there. So again, extra credit is due by Sunday, and then that's it. That's it. So just remember that your revision for essay number 1 is due next Monday. So again, if you're not sure how to even submit that, look at the page on revising this week. It's in the module. If you would like to meet with me this week, please check on the calendar for the open conference slots. If none of those times work for you, then send me some available windows of time, and I'll see what I can do. I know that I can't have any conferences on Tuesday. I'm in meetings all day. So that's why the other days are kind of jam-packed with conference slots. So, but if those don't work, please let me know. And like I said, we'll figure something out. All right, rough draft week. You can do it. You can do it. All right, if you have questions, let me know. And hopefully I will see you soon in a conference.